Welcome to another OmniEd Brief. My name is Christie Bonfiglio, and for the next few minutes, I'll be sharing a few thoughts on one topic within a short series of videos on using data to make decisions. Please be sure to take a peek at the other videos in this series, but for now, let's consider can't do versus won't do. In this short video, we're going to address what a can't do versus won't do is, when to use it, why it's important, and what it looks like or how to do it. So let's get started. There is a quick and easy assessment to determine if there is a skill deficit, a student can't, or if there is a performance deficit, a student won't, that is, lacks motivation. When student performance is below expectations and you are unsure of causation, you should perform this assessment. The results of this assessment will influence how you will intervene. For a can't do or skill deficit, you will teach. For a won't do issue or performance deficit, you will need to motivate. And for a combination issue, that is, a student has a skill deficit and needs instruction, but because of the lack of skill is unmotivated, you'll need to do both. Let's consider the following case example. There's a third grade student, let's call her Bella, who is reading below grade level in class. We predict she is reading at about a first grade level, and the problem has been prevalent for several months prior to the launch of the school year. Bella is a bit distracted during reading time. So what's the issue? If we think about and address the underlying issue, we know how to approach intervention. If a student is lacking progress in an academic area, a social area, or an emotional area, the student either can't do or won't do. We approach these issues differently with the intervention. On day one of this assessment, we will collect some baseline data by administering a curriculum-based measurement probe, CBM, a third grade probe. We ask her to do her best reading for 1 minute and then record her correctly read words and her errors. Upon completion, we graph the results. Let's say these are Bella's data. She read 41 correctly read words with 4 errors. Third grade standards would indicate that she is reading below third grade level at a frustrational level. On day 2, we'll determine if the student doesn't have the skills to complete the task or simply isn't motivated to do so. So we give the same probe to Bella, asking her to do her best reading, again for 1 minute. This time, however, we add, if you beat your score or if you meet your goal, you can have a reward. Now this is a predetermined reward. Perhaps a mechanical pencil or an eraser, something from that treasure chest, something a student will work for. Administer the probe again and then compare those data to the previous score. If you set a goal, it is at least 15 to 20% than the previous score. Again, graph that score. Now we interpret the data. If the student fails to meet or exceed the goal, then she has a skill deficit and you must teach the skill. Bella can't do it, and we must teach her how. Bella's data may look like this. Correctly read words and errors increase just slightly, but the data are flat. We know that even with the reward on that table, Bella tried, but she could not do it. It's a skill deficit. If Bella meets or exceeds the goal and her performance compares to her classmates or the norm, you know you have a won't do issue. She can do it when motivated, and therefore it's our job to figure out how to motivate her to do her best in the future. Bella's data, well, they may look like this. Clearly, her correctly read words increased dramatically, and the error count decreased. Therefore, this is a won't do. Let's look at the final option. If Bella meets or exceeds the goal, but her performance is well below her classmates, then we need to teach and motivate. Bella clearly needs to catch up, but because she is so far behind, you're probably going to need to motivate her to do so. Again, Bella's data, they may look like this. A clear increase in correctly read words and a decrease in errors, just not enough to match her peers. So you ask, what are the steps to complete a can do versus won't do assessment? Prepare an incentive, administer the assessment and provide that feedback, set a goal, then re-administer it at a later time, provide feedback again, interpret the results, and then give the reward if it's earned. Finally, provide interventions that match the issue, skill versus performance, and it will lead to success. So as review, can do versus won't do is a brief assessment we can use when performance is below expectations. In this example, an instructional skill. It determines if there is a skill or a performance deficit. After we analyze the results, we intervene with evidence-based interventions. Thank you for participating in this OmniEd brief, using data to make decisions, can't do versus won't do. Please check out the remaining videos in this series and visit us at omnied.org. At OmniEd, we are all for education and believe in education for all.